Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So today we're going to be painting actually my wife's Mercedes-Benz. So it's obviously a silver C200 Mercedes-Benz. Somebody slammed up the back of my wife while she was driving in traffic, peak hour traffic. So yeah, my boss had all the facilities, of course, to allow us to repair it. So yeah, if anyone else in the future wants their car repaired or repainted, be sure to let us know. thegunmanraw@gmail.com. I'll do my best to get back to you, even if you got resprays. So yeah, anyone wants to contact me, get the car fully repainted. We can even organize transport, but hey, I'm not here to advertise our business. I'm here to take you guys through the paintwork on this C200 Benz. So the color code is 744. We're going to be using the PPG OneVisit, so it's something that's kind of relatively new here in Australia. And I even spoke to the guy that sells it, Mario from Alan Mance. So they're our distributor, and I said to him, I said, hey, like, have you got many accounts, like many customers that are using it at the moment? He said, nah, not really. So for the whole of Melbourne, well, and that's for him, to be fair, like, no doubt there's a few other distributors of PPG, but he said for him it's just me and I think he said 2 or 3 other companies, 2 or 3 other paint shops. So it doesn't seem to have a big uptake as of yet, but no doubt that will sort of start picking up in the future. Look, it seems like they're doing a bit of a soft launch of it, so to speak. Like they've promoted their clear coats, which is the 131 and the 177, which is an air dry clear, the 177. They've even got the air dry primers, which it appears that they're sort of promoting that. But with the OneVisit, it's there, but it doesn't seem that they've sort of, they may not have even used it, like the tech reps, so they're probably just giving themselves time to sort of get their heads around it, and yeah, so that they can provide that technical support. Yeah, but either way, look, this is me just giving it a shot, and you know, I'm not shy of using it because I've obviously got the experience with the Stando Blue. And look, early prognosis is it's definitely nowhere near as good as Stando Blue. Like, I was really excited to use it at the start, and I really, like, first impressions was, wow, this kind of, you know, it's so much faster, and it will actually leave you with a superior gloss retention, because there's something about a thin film or like a slick film, I guess that's the best way of saying it, rather than having sort of dusty coats, right? It seems that the clear will sort of pull into those dusty coats, whereas that one thick film, the one slick film, the clear will just go over it so smooth, and you will actually get a much better gloss retention. But what I'm starting to learn, because this is one of the first cars I've sort of done with it, blends and that, like, I have done a couple before it, but this is the first, like, true proper silver with blends, which are obviously going to be, it's going to push it to its limits, right? So obviously I did back my skills in with the product, and also a bit of troubleshooting if you hang around for a bit, because yeah, we had some troubles with it, not major issues, something that I was able to overcome. But so what I was just doing there with the Blue Pro was just putting the base coat blender down, so that's 4304. Now that does get mixed with the OneVisit Modifier as well. But next up, what I'm doing here is I'm sort of stepping that blend down, so just over the edge of the blend. So that's a separate pot. You may have noticed that I'm sort of taking pots on and putting them off during this video. And that's it's like a diluted version of the color. So it's like half blender and color. It's not an exact mix, it's just whatever, just a bit of a bench mix. Just put them, you know, roughly half together, so you've got a diluted version of the color. And as you can see here, just hot swapping, and now it's got the full strength color that we're going to go and color over the primer sections with. But yeah, the thing that I was mentioning before is that I don't know if it's coverage, or I don't know if it just doesn't necessarily like some of those different shades of primer or the factory primer. That's one thing I actually did notice, like everywhere the factory primer was, it's sort of, I don't know if it's just gone sort of shiny or something like that. It didn't like going over that factory primer. Now this guard here is just a blend. Now I did fix a couple of stone chips here and there, but the main purpose of that guard was just a blend because of painting the bonnet. And look, there would be a good call for doing a full respray on this car, but look, at the end of the day, I didn't want to go and push my luck. My boss did actually mention, I'm like, no, we won't have to. So what happened in this job here was it got smashed up the back, so we're painting the quarter panels, boot lid, back panel, rear bumper, and all of that. That's what's part of the job, right? My boss was kind enough to let me fix a dent on the passenger side dog leg, and then paint the rear door as well, and also paint the bonnet and both of the guards. So look, after all that was said and done, there was only 3 panels left. He probably would have if I really wanted to, but ultimately I thought about it and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to back my skills in, my skills to blend, my skills to color match, and not have to paint the remaining 3 doors. I'm very happy with the results. I've got a photo. I didn't actually make a video of it. It's actually not back together yet. It worked out well because this is the last job that I painted for the year. So it's had like a good 2 weeks over our Christmas break to cure up. Another thing worth mentioning when you're using the OneVisit is you really want to do it sort of panel by panel. That's why, you know, if you were using solvent, you'd probably just go around with that base coat blender, put your base coat blender on the whole job first, then grab your color gun and then do the whole thing at once. But because like one of the worst things that can happen with this is if you have your base coat drying as you're putting it down, and especially coming into the summer here in Australia, that's going to be more of a concern. So pretty much this time of year, I'm just going to default to using the slow adjuster, right? Now, what I'm using here, again, that's that diluted version of the blender, just sort of blending up that pillar, so there's really not much color in there. It's just sort of helping that color blend out. But yeah, like I say, the last thing that you really want to do is be revisiting, right? So it's a OneVisit. You really don't want to be fixing stuff, but I had to. If you have to, you have to, of course, right? Because I was telling you about those little shiny spots, and there was actually one little stone chip which I missed in the bonnet. So I did have to give that a little scuff back and revisit it. Not ideal. You're going to lose a bit of gloss, but probably no worse than if you were just to do a sort of standard 3-coat system anyway. So it's not as bad as Stando Blue for that. I found with Stando Blue, you really got to get it right first time. As soon as you say fix one little bit on the bonnet, the gloss level is just going to totally die in the ass. Look, you're probably going to be able to buff it up, but yeah, it's just extra work that you prefer not to do. So I do recommend just sort of taking that extra little bit of time on your prep work. And again, same thing with this, just sand those panels down that little bit finer. So if you're used to using 500, maybe step it up to 800. If you're usually used to using 800, maybe even step it up to 1000 grit. That is what I personally do. So what I'll do when I'm prepping a blend panel with the OneVisit, I'll actually hit it with 800 first, right? I'll then do my edges with a 1000 grit pad. I showed them in the previous video, those blue pads, right? They're actually orbital sanding pads, but you can use them by hand, of course, on the edges. And then I'll actually put that pad back onto the orbital sander and finish with the orbital, because the orbital sanding scratches do seem to be that little bit sort of finer. So the final finish is orbital sander, just in case you may have sort of nicked it with a deeper sanding scratch when you're doing your edges or something like that. And that should usually be pretty fine. But another thing worth mentioning is that I did a Honda ZR-V, was the first one that I did like blends on, and I was expecting the coverage to be better. So I generally default to, I prefer not to wet on wet panels where possible. There's good reason for that, because you can get sort of dye back and pinch back, like it'll look good that day, but then over the next sort of few days to a week, the gloss will just sort of die down. Now there's one thing that I've actually recently started doing. I got the idea from someone's Instagram comment. So he said that he bakes his wet on wet. It's something that I had never really heard that many people say that they do, because I was always a bit concerned that, say, if you put your wet on wet down then baked it, you may sort of go too far and leave that adhesion window, right? But look, I've found 5 minutes and it seems to make the gloss retention much better. So with this door here, I did actually end up putting color right up to the end, because I found an extra chip and I'm just like, nah, I can't leave that. So it'll be interesting to see how the color looks, because I've basically gone edge to edge on that. But I did actually color match it, and that's actually another thing worth, on the topic of the color, another thing worth mentioning is that the colors from OneVisit changed dramatically, especially with the silvers. Maybe not as noticeable with the darker colors. but yeah, they go really light and frosty, and it sort of tracks with Stando Blue too, because I remember with the Stando Blue, if you ever did put it on a little bit too wet, right, you would get that sort of frosty, like the metallics would sort of stand up and it'd go like, yeah, frosty and light for some reason. But there you go, there's those little imperfections. Like, that's not the paint's fault, of course. I missed a couple of chips. But these little ones here, like those little blemishes, those little discoloration, again, maybe not the paint's fault. I probably should have wetted that panel, but again, going back to my experience with, say, Stando Blue, you would not have necessarily had to. But at the end of the day, I'm learning. Like, I'm not having a go at the paint. I'm really just learning. Look, the way I see it, even if I do have to go back to a standard pre-coat system on most jobs, at least the option is there, right? Now at least I have the option, and I might just say, hey, look, certain colors, avoid the OneVisit. It might be a case of silvers, don't use the OneVisit, because you're going to have to revisit, and you're not saving anything if you're doing this. Like, so there's no real saving time by using the OneVisit if I'm going back to every panel and dusting an extra coat on. You may as well just do your standard 3 coats at that point. So yeah, and that's the clear coat that I'm using because it's my own car. I wanted to use my own clear coat. Not the massive fan of the PPG clears, to be honest, although I do like the 177 and the 131 that they have now. Big fan of the 131, but I still do prefer like a slightly higher quality clear than that. Like, I personally have seen some of the PPG clears fail over the years. You can get delamination, and I don't know if it's maybe the way that the people painted it. I actually have a feeling that with that delamination, there's a good chance that it could be, well, here in Australia anyway, they recommend to thin the base coat down at like 15%, which I don't think is enough thinners, because with PPG Envirobase, if you don't put enough thinners in, it'll take longer to dry, right? So I don't believe that their default is enough. So what will happen is it'll look dry, it'll be skinned over on the top, then people will go and clear over it. So what's happening to cause that delamination is actually, people are clearing over wet base coat or semi-wet base coat. It'll look okay for a year or two, and then as that water starts, evaporating out, it sort of creates that the delamination effect that you do see relatively often. So because I know about that, and because I thin that base coat down properly, which I believe is 25%, I'm pretty confident that my clear won't delaminate. But like I say, I have seen it, and it's not something that you see very often with most other brands of paint. So the reason I went for the Quartz VOC clear is because I had some. Well, that's the start. I actually thought that it was a can of liquid glass. I just looked up and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw the Quartz label, and when I actually went to paint it, I'm like, oh, it's the VOC clear, that's right, because that's what you're meant to use with the matte clear that I had to paint something matte in at one point. But either way, I was really impressed with the quality of it. Like, it went down, it's even the detailer sort of made a mention of it. He goes, man, that clear coat looks really good. Like, it's got a nice sort of structure to it, and like a nice full body, like a nice full bodied clear, without being like overly thick and chunky and orange peely. Like, it pretty much nailed the look that I was looking for. Now, I haven't obviously seen how it's going to hold up. And I say that because one of the other Quartz clears that I've used in the past, which was the supposed anti-scratch clear, that's the Quartz Crystal Clear. I've got that on the Corolla roof, and it is terrible. It is actually a really bad clear. I would not recommend using Quartz Crystal Clear, right? Sorry, Chris, and sorry, Spray Guns Direct, but that's my honest opinion. It does not last. Those of you who regularly follow the channel will remember the roof that I painted on my red Corolla. I painted it black, and I did all the blackouts, right? And I had to polish it, right? And it was an absolute nightmare to polish. And it just didn't last either. So even after, like, obviously leaving it for a sort of couple of months, letting it gas out, letting it cure up properly, polished it up. For starters, it was a nightmare to polish because it would actually scratch really easy. You'd get these micro scratches in it. And then even after a ceramic coating, it would just oxidize and the clear would just die, right? So it really actually does need a flow coat. My boss said that I could have done it over the Christmas break. He said I'd even just bring it in early one day. But look, I decided to give it another buff all over and just to sort of save it for another year or two. But yeah, like I say, that Quartz crystal clear, I do not recommend it. I do not rate it at all. But this quartz VOC clear, we will have to see. It looks good. One thing that I did notice about it is that it took a lot longer to dry than most of the normal clears. So I would say in a smash environment, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Smash environment, when you're talking quartz products, you probably want to looking at the liquid glass. That would probably be the best one. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how this lasts. Of course, it's my own car, so it's actually a good sort of test sample. So if, like I say, if anyone's sort of wondering how this is holding up over time, be sure to hit me up, Instagram, whatever. I'm not as good as at Facebook with replying to comments and stuff like that, but Instagram, shoot us a DM. If you have not got a reply, just leave a comment, let me know that you've sent me a DM, otherwise I'll probably miss it. Yeah, sometimes I miss them here on YouTube too, but like I say, if anyone does actually want their car painted, any smash repairs, anything like that, just let us know, guys. The Gunman raw at gmail.com. So shoot us an email, respray, smash work, and you can get in touch with us. So yeah, take it from there. So look, you know what we do, you know the kind of work we do, the kind of quality products that we use, and obviously decent skills on display as always. I'm pretty happy with how this one come up, but yeah, the spray gun that I used was the Envirobase DV1 C2 1.3, which is more of a conventional spray gun, more of a conventional setup. It's sort of more similar to the Pro Light, which you know, I've generally recommended. So it's better just for your sort of legacy clears. But once you go to the new performance clear coats, the ones that sort of dry really fast, sort of like the 105 and the Standox Performance Pro Clear from memory, that's what it was called. Those really fast drying clear coats they'll have like the full through cure in something like a 20-minute bake. They don't like being smashed on too heavy, or they will solvent boil, or they will run, because it's like they don't dry until they get that heat on them. But yeah, those kind of clears, I'd be recommending, say, a 1.2 through most setups. But if you're looking at, say, the SATA CC, I'd be going to 1.3, because that's actually quite a restrictive gun. It's actually one of my favorite clear coat guns, that SATA CC. I know I'm sort of known for being somewhat of a SATA hater, but when they come out with a good gun, I'm more than happy to let you guys know. It's sort of somewhat unique in a few ways that, like, it's not necessarily the fastest gun, but I've actually found that for candy, it gets the most even distribution of that candy, and trust me, I know, I've painted a lot of them over the years. Look, just to finish off this video, I thought I'd give you guys a quick look at the boot and the boot lid that I painted. And that was with the OneVisit, and that was not having to revisit it, right? So yeah, that was just, I got it right sort of the first time. There was some minor mottling, but I just think that's one of those things that you always, like, once you get to a certain point, short of going the 3 coat, you're probably not going to get it much better. But yeah, there's a look at that clear coat that I used. Of course, it's VOC clear. Like I say, if you're interested to see how this is holding up in a year, shoot us a message and I can let you know. I actually had to cut a fair bit of footage out of this because it was starting to get a little bit too long. So what I've decided to do, again, like I did with the last Mercedes-Benz video, I'm just going to upload a long video onto my Raw channel. Like it, don't like it, doesn't matter, don't watch. So go over and check out that Gunman Raw channel if you want more. Another one I thought I'd quickly let you guys know just at the end of the video is if you do order any spray guns from Spray Guns Direct, who are the sponsors of this channel, and you shoot them an email letting them know that I sent you, they'll send you one of these spray gun cleaning kits free of charge. So I know it's only something small, but yeah, just to sort of show the appreciation. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this video. Hopefully you got something out of it. As always, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.